Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast network. Welcome to Insights into Entertainment, a podcast series taking a deeper look into entertainment and media. Your hosts, Joseph and Michelle Whalen, a husband and wife team of pop culture fanatics, are exploring all things from music and movies to television and fandom.
Welcome to Insights into Entertainment. This is episode 114, Wrath of the Mouse. I'm your host, Joseph Whalen, and my informed and insightful co-host, Michelle Whalen.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today, sweetheart?
I am doing fabulous, and you?
If I was doing any better, they'd have to arrest me.
Okay, sure.
Long week this week.
Every week's a long
Yeah,
week.
these days. But hey, you get to look forward to going back into the office soon, don't you?
Yay. Yeah. Look forward
You're so excited about
it. Yay.
Well, that's okay. All week, since Wednesday, we've been. What is today? Thursday. huh?
Today's Thursday.
So the
I
last
think.
2 days, I've been playing musical cars at work because they're
Right.
resurfacing the parking lot. And Tuesday, I had a 3-hour, 5-hour round trip.
Right, because you
Had to travel down to Maryland, so
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
for a very long week.
Oh yeah, I've already checked in to see if there's a docking station because somebody at work borrowed mine,
Oh,
and he's like, "Oh yeah, I talked to IT about getting you one."
haven't gotten it yet, though, huh?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out next
Okay.
month.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
So yeah, so July will be interesting, but that's
So,
not what we're talking about.
That is not what we're talking about. In today's episode, in our Disney Detective, we continue to return to normal, but what does normal look like after COVID for Disney? We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Then in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy Star Wars Garage Edition, and somehow Gina Carano is still in the Star Wars news. I'm getting tired of talking about her. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm sorry.
Then in our entertainment news, Ricky Schroeder doesn't like the Foo Fighters concert requirements.
Oh, boo hoo hoo.
Plus, Diana Ross thanks us with a new album, her first new album after 25 years. Then we'll finish up, but not really finish up, with our insightful picks of the week. But we have a few quick afterthoughts that are another sign of a return to normal.
Yay.
Are we ready to get started?
Sure.
Okay. Well, before we do, I got to do some podcast business. Before we do,
Take
I
your
want to.
business.
Not that kind of business.
Okay.
Before we get started, I do want to invite folks to subscribe to the podcast. You can get audio versions of this podcast listed as Insights into Entertainment. You can get video versions of this and all the network's podcasts listed as Insights into Things. We are available on Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, Pandora, pretty much any place you can get a podcast these days. We are literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I would also invite folks to reach out to us, give us your feedback, tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com. You can find us on Twitter at insights_things. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast. We are on Instagram at instagram.com/insightsintothings. Or you can get links to all those and more on our website at www.insightsintothings.com. And here we go. Go for Disney Detective.
So our first article comes from wdwmagic.com, and it talks about how the masks and social distancing have basically been dropped for the most part at Walt Disney World. So Walt Disney World theme park is, starting to feel kind of more and more normal each day, as a new mask guideline means that guests no longer need to wear face coverings anywhere inside the actual theme parks. So as the parks reopen from the COVID-19 shutdown, Disney has been slow and cautious, choosing to use a phased approach to reopening, and its latest milestone is no different.
Hey, look, there's my car.
So what has actually changed? So it seems that, there's so the crowds are obviously back. The end of mask requirements gives guests who were holding back a reason to go to the park an opportunity to finally visit. Most guests are choosing not to wear a mask, whether indoors or outdoors. Masks, however, are still present on some guests, and all cast members are actually still wearing them too. Shields are now optional for cast members, and there's a lot less of them being seen on.
So there's a chance that Captain America might be out of uniform.
Right. He's at a different park, though.
Oh.
They also had mentioned in the article that nearly all of the physical distancing markers that had been placed on the ground have been removed. There are still signs that are in place advising guests to maintain spacing, but there's nothing in place to enforce any kind of distancing. In fact, the person that wrote the article said that people were very much shoulder to shoulder in certain cases, kind of like how it used to be back in the day. On Disney buses, they used to have plexiglass dividers in various sections. That's pretty much been removed, but masks are required when you are on any of the buses, and this is also to help them with capacity issues, so they can put more people on if everybody's wearing a mask. There's also a plexiglass divider for the driver. And also on the monorail as well, they have now removed a lot of the plexiglass, but the cast members are actually loading you by specific rows. So they're trying to not cram as many people in.
That's very un-Disney-like.
Yeah. And so they're still kind of, not full capacity, but definitely putting smaller groups together to try and get at least 16 people per cabin. And again, masks are still required. For the boats, for the different watercrafts, masks aren't required, but they did notice that, like on the Jungle Cruise, now they are basically loading how they were pre-COVID, basically filling in every available seat, including the center bench, because for the longest time they were using that as a divider. But they still have the barrier up between the guests and the cast member skipper. So they're basically keeping all of the cast still safe, but all of the
Sacrifice the guests.
Right, basically. Other attractions still have their plexiglass dividers in their queue, such as Peter Pan's Flight, It's a Small World, and the Haunted Mansion. And some pre-shows are starting to return, such as Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. But the Haunted Mansion, the guests are still bypassing the stretching room scene. So, slowly but surely, I guess, certain things. The other thing they talk about is mobile ordering is still being done for quick serve at 100%, but all of the restaurants are open to 100% capacity for the quick serve restaurants. The table service dining, where most of those, where not every restaurant is open yet, those seem to be operating kind of as normal. There's still a modified menu in place, and availability is limited. Is still limited. So obviously they're still pushing everybody towards the quick serve with the mobile ordering for now. Obviously, as attendance rises, they're going to need more food, I'm sure. So, more changes are coming. So,
See, I'm puzzled why they took some of these away, like the plexiglass on the monorail. So the plexiglass on the monorail was separating one side of the car from the other. It wasn't separating people individually in the seats.
Right.
So you've already spent the money on it. You've already put it up.
Right.
Why take it down?
Right, and I guess that's the thing too. Why in some other cases they've just left it up. I don't know. Did it something with the airflow maybe with the air conditioning on it?
Well, I guess
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess since you're sharing, an airflow motor there, it doesn't really matter if you have it up or not. You're still exchanging the same air.
Right.
I don't
So
know.
I guess maybe there were certain, or the fact of is it harder to clean after so many trips? Do you even bother cleaning it? Is it easier to clean it when it's on a ride versus some of the other areas? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what some of the logistics were in motivating them to take some of these down, because you're right. You're still protecting your staff.
Right, exactly.
So if there's a reason to protect the staff, then there's a reason
there
to
has
protect
to be a rest. Right.
the rest of the people.
Right.
So it I don't know, seems a little odd.
Yeah, and it just seems like, okay, so bring your park back up to capacity, but why not have those safety precautions still in place?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's we got to get capacity. We got to get people in the rides. We've got to
Right.
get people through the gate. We need to get our money back. And it's the mad scramble for dollars.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. You look at the picture we have up on the screen here now.
Yeah.
Like, that terrifies me.
Oh, absolutely.
To be in a group of people like that. Now, we're all vaccinated at this point.
Yeah.
I'd still be terrified to be in a group of people packed that close together.
Yeah.
And knowing how tightly that Disney's packed together for everything else.
Right.
In lines, on buses, on the monorail.
Absolutely.
During a fireworks show or a concert. I mean, they pack you in shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
And they do that because Disney has no compunction whatsoever about overcrowding the place.
Nope.
Which, I think that's reckless, that's greedy, and it does your customers a disservice. But
I'm just interested.
then again, I'm not a fan of Disney either. So
Right. I'm interested to see, because I could probably guarantee not everybody in that picture is vaccinated.
Absolutely.
So.
Because Republicans go to Disney too.
Right. But, well, no, I see one person wearing a mask in the corner over there. But I'm interested to see.
Is that who Walt's pointing to?
Maybe. Oh, look, there's somebody wearing. Is there going to be a spike of any sort?
Yeah.
Because we really haven't.
Well, and they were just recently talking. They did a survey of residents of California, not specifically Disney park goers, but the majority of people that they surveyed in California think that California opened too quickly, and scientists think that there's going to be a spike, especially with this Delta variant that's going around now. That's more virulent than anything else. It's more severe when you get it.
Right.
Fortunately, the vaccines are effective against it, but there's over 35% of the population refuses to get a vaccine at this point in time.
Right.
They're all susceptible to this, and going back in without having more people vaccinated is just overexposing that population.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I
needless
hope.
to say, we're not going to Disney on vacation anytime soon.
We had thought about it, and then we didn't. So
And we didn't, right.
And we didn't.
Thank you, Disney, for convincing us otherwise.
Yeah.
You're not getting our money this year.
Nope, not yet.
Speaking of Disney doing things, getting back to normal, what's our next story?
Yeah, so this was some, kind of happy news, I guess, for a lot of people. It seems that fireworks are going to be coming back this summer. So as we continue to see, communities adjust and ease COVID-19 guidelines, there's a new sense of optimism, obviously, with many positive signs moving forward. So Disney, they are starting to finally bring back, some beloved experiences. So a Disney tradition since 1957, fireworks shows are what Walt Disney always called the perfect goodnight kiss at the close of a magical day.
Yes, flaming explosions in your face are a great goodnight kiss.
I always liked them. So beginning in July, just in time for the nation's Independence Day celebrations, the fireworks will be returning. So Walt Disney World will have their fireworks returning on July 1st at the Magic Kingdom. The Happily Ever After show, which is presented by Pandora Jewelry, will transform Cinderella's castle with lights, projections, and pyrotechnics. And then obviously over at Epcot, you have the new Epcot Forever show, which will be going on. And then in California, starting July 4th, Mickey's Magic Mix will be their state-of-the-art show that will be going on over there. So the information actually came from the Disney blog, Disney Parks blog. So they also mentioned that to be on the lookout that there might be some virtual viewings of Happily Ever After coming for those that can't be at the parks when the fireworks start. So
Great. So we're getting back to normal. So let's blow stuff up. It's a great American way.
well, and that's the other thing too is, you know, I don't know how much of their fireworks were like surplus or whatnot, because I had heard various different news outlets were talking about that the fireworks, because of the shipping issues and things like that, and fireworks coming from China and overseas, that a lot of towns, you know, local towns that would do fireworks shows weren't going to be able to do them because there weren't fireworks that were going to be available. So I wonder, you know, with the shows going on in Disney World and Disneyland, how much...
Well, I could almost guarantee you that they make all theirs domestically. You know, they've got their entire
I'm
fireworks
sure they
team.
probably have their
now,
own...
sourcing the raw materials might be a different story.
Right, like I
because
wonder...
the raw materials are going to be more expensive if you source them domestically.
Right, and I wonder if you'll be able to tell the difference if, like, the show's a little shorter...
Right.
Or
you might have
something a little...
less stuff, less material used.
Right.
But you got to also remember, a good portion of the fireworks shows that they do are laser light shows now too. So they've really cut down on the amount of fireworks.
Well, and
that
that's the thing
off.
is, are they going to be doing more laser light stuff to kind of compensate
mice
for
with frickin' laser beams?
Mice with laser beams. So it'll be interesting, you know. So that's kind of good news for people that, you know, as we've been talking about, you know, all of these experiences that
all the stuff they took away
that they're starting to finally, you know, bring back.
And I'll guarantee you, when they start to bring them back, they're going to raise their prices again.
Of course.
Because, you know, you're paying full price for 70% of the shows that you were getting before. So now if we go to 100%, we can charge 15% more per ticket now.
Right.
That's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all we had for our Disney Detective. We'll be right back with our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy. For over 7 years, the Second Sith Empire has been the premier community guild line game Star Wars: The Old Republic. With hundreds of friendly and helpful active members, a weekly schedule of nightly events, annual guild meet and greets, and an active community both on the web and on Discord. The Second Sith Empire is more than your typical gaming group. We're family. Join us on the Starforge server for nightly events such as operations, flashpoints, world boss hunts, Star Wars trivia, guild lottery, and much more. Visit us on the web today at www.thesecondsithempire.com. Go for Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew.
Okay. So this was a really cool article that I found that was on avclub.com, and it was Parents Risk the Wrath of the Mouse by Creating a Very Cool Ride. So it seems that when they had asked their child what they wanted for their birthday party, they had decided that the child had wanted a Disneyland at home party for their birthday. So it seems that the parents, who remained anonymous in this video, and it was basically just uploaded with the title Disneyland at Home for Indy's Birthday. It seems that they modeled the original 1987 version of Star Tours in their garage, and it featured a big handmade space shuttle surrounded by distinctive Star Wars crates, a droid, and a guy that might possibly have been the dad, who was dressed as Han Solo. They basically take you on this little trip. It moves around, you get jostled, and then when you emerge, kids get to meet Princess Leia, and then before they leave the ride, Darth Vader comes to try and take them, and Han Solo basically fights, and he hits something, so the garage door opens so the kids can escape. So the description basically said, requested a Disneyland themed party at our house for her birthday, which was in April, back in 2019. It seems that the couple had actually built some other attractions, but the party was canceled because of the pandemic and rescheduled to be held a year later. So no idea what other rides these parents had, in their house. The article talked about maybe they had like a bobsled in their backyard. But it was really very cute the way that they did it, and to see all the smiles on the kids' faces, and even some of the parents that took the ride, it was pretty cool. So
yeah, we watched through before we started the podcast here, and I got to tell you, this was really probably the coolest thing I think I have ever seen somebody do at their house. Now, I had a friend of mine years ago who used to build out in his 2-car garage a full fun house, walls and scare things and drop floors and a elevator at one point. And I thought that was cool, but this totally takes the case.
Because you would totally,
Oh, man, this was just so cool to have Vader come in at the end.
Right.
It was just incredible. And, like, can you imagine being the parents on the block that have this?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Absolutely. You would never get any peace and quiet.
Oh, and I'm sure, like, once the birthday party was over, people would still want to come over. And it was cute because if you're not familiar with the ride, and this is based off of the original version of the ride, there's the pilot is Rex, and he's this little robot.
Right.
They even have a little puppet of him, when you get on the ride. So, they put a lot of effort into
and
this.
And it's so well done. The fact that they can fit 3 people on there and have one person do all the motion simulations for it.
Right.
They built the whole thing. You've got the soundtrack going on. You've got a TV inside this ship that he made.
Right.
It was just the level of detail. Like, if Disney doesn't see this and hire this guy, they're totally missing out.
Yeah, and we have no idea where these people are located. I'm guessing they're probably in California.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very cool.
Which stinks because, we're not, and I
want to be friends with them.
I don't want to ride it. I just want to go and see.
Right.
Because he did the whole garage.
Yeah.
You
with
had a
lights and
Gonk
everything.
droid at one point. You've got the lights on the walls. You got Vader showing up.
Yeah.
You've got the mom and dad in costume as Han and Leia. It's just it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
And they do mention in their I guess interview or their post that they don't make any money off of this at all.
Right.
This is
purely
all for
done
the fun of the kids.
Just for the fun of the kids.
And
exactly.
and to see the look on the kids' faces when they get out of that, I can't imagine how much he spent, but just the look on the kids' faces.
Yeah, the one kid
said,
how long have you been waiting to get on it? And they were like, an hour.
Yeah. So it's just like Disney.
So it's just like Disney. So you probably could be outside and get some cake.
Right.
And, a hot dog or something before you got on the ride.
The only thing that I would recommend is fast passes.
Right.
He needs
or a gift
fast
shop.
passes. Or gift shop, right.
Maybe
right.
that was their goodie bag when you left for the day.
All right, so that was our good Star Wars story. Now, for some reason,
she just won't go away.
For like the 5th week in a row, we need to talk about Gina Carano.
Yeah, well, So, and this was actually, there were 2 different articles that had popped up for her. Basically the same thing. So it seems that, Gina's Star Wars career, obviously, we know, came to a sudden end earlier this year when she was fired. And obviously, any, spin-offs were lost because of it. But her loyal fans haven't given up hope that Disney could reverse their decision. However, and some rumors have claimed that the actress may have had some chats with the studio about burying the hatchet. Obviously, we still don't know, but now she had made a post on Twitter that fans are thinking, oh, this is it, she's coming back. So the former MMA star shared an intriguing image that has a clear Star Wars vibe to it. The photo depicts a shrouded figure, possibly herself, standing on a very Tatooine-like landscape, watching not a binary, but a trinary sunset. I was like, what? Further adding to the intrigue, the actress had shared the photo without any comment. So, of course, everybody saw the photo and was like, yes, she's on Tatooine. Those are 3 suns. Yes, she's back.
People can't count.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the fact that, Carano had actually recently made a surprise comeback on Disney Plus as her episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls Season 6 ended up airing despite the studio initially trying to bury it. So, the minor decision reversal is a long way from her actually being invited back to Star Wars or back to The Mandalorian. So, Disney obviously had some very strong words about the post that she had made, and she's obviously come back too, accusing the studio of bullying her and other actors. So is it a tease? Was it just her trying to get some sort of publicity because nobody,
well, and we had talked about the fact that she was in talks with engaging in another sci-fi project.
Right. So
which
who knows that?
Quite likely is a shot from that project that she's working on.
Right. Or just, hey, that's a really cool picture. I'm going to post it and have nothing,
Right, because she could be making the whole thing up too.
Right. And what was funny was the other article that had posted the story was very much more pro her. And it was all of these people that were posting on Twitter was like, yes, she's back. It's confirmed. Da, 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 da. This better not be a rumor.
Not so
Darn
much.
you,
who
Disney.
Confirmed it?
I don't know.
There was no confirmation.
Exactly. These are,
Well, yeah, we know who they are. And
it's Twitter.
We know who they are. And they facts really aren't anything that ever stood in their way.
So I promise... No story next week.
Next week, I absolutely refuse to introduce a Gina Carano story next week. Although I will say I'm a little disappointed in you this week.
Why?
You did not have any stories sourced from Giant Freaking Robot. You seem to get one in every week just because you like the name of the site.
I do like their site.
And you'd almost think JJ's giving us a kickback on it.
I wish he would.
I wish you would too. We do take donations.
Come on, JJ, just throw us a bone.
Just in case. We'll give you a plug. So that was all we had for our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy this week. We'll be back in a moment with our entertainment news of the week. I couldn't remember what was up next because we have so much going on today.
Right.
Entertainment news of the week coming up next.
Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Talking to real teens about real teen problems. Explore issues from braces to puberty, social anxiety to financial responsibility. Each week, we talk about the topics concerning today's youth. We look at how the issues affect teens, how to cope with these issues, and how parents, friends, and loved ones can help teens handle these challenges. Check out our video episodes on youtube.com/insightsintothings. Catch our audio versions on podcast.insightsintoteens.com or on the web at insightsintothings.com.
Go for your entertainment news.
I will. Just because I can.
So tell us why the Foo Fighters are poo-poo heads, according to Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, I don't think they're poo-poo heads at all.
According to Ricky Schroeder,
Well,
they
you
are.
know, so the Foo Fighters held a show for vaccinated fans only, and anti-vaxxers, including former child star Ricky Schroeder, were protesting outside. So anti-vaccine protesters were demonstrating on Tuesday outside a Foo Fighters concert in California that allowed only vaccinated fans, which was reported by Variety. So on Saturday, the rock band had announced that they were going to be doing an intimate show at the Canyon Club ahead of a larger performance with similar requirements, which will be at Madison Square Garden in New York City on June 20th. So attendees had to show proof that they were over 21 and vaccinated in order to pick up their non-refundable tickets at the club on Sunday. Variety had reported that protesters appeared to be joined by Ricky Schroeder, the former child star. So they won't even say that he's like actor, Ricky Schroeder.
Has he done anything lately?
It's been a while. He did stuff not that long ago.
Name something.
He was on that one cop show.
That's how. Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, so
neither did I.
Well, it's been at least, I don't know, 10 years maybe.
So you're saying Ricky's got a lot of free time on his hands.
Right, exactly. So, and then of course
maybe he and Kevin Sorbo can get together.
They probably are like besties, I'm sure. And the My Pillow guy too.
Right, and they sit around listening to who's the redneck rock guy?
Oh,
yeah.
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. Yeah, you sit
Yeah.
around listening to Ted Nugent
Right.
albums.
So he had posted on his Facebook, Dave Grohl is an ignorant punk who needs slapped for supporting discrimination, referring to the frontman of the Foo Fighters. Ignorance comes in all shapes and sizes. Kurt Cobain is laughing at you along with millions of patriots. Fool.
He does know Kurt Cobain's dead, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was, maybe he meant like Kurt Cobain was rolling,
Yeah, well,
in
he
his
can't laugh because
grave.
he's
He's
dead.
dead.
Right.
He's dead.
Maybe analogy like he's rolling over in his grave or something would work.
Right, as opposed to he's laughing at you. So obviously Schroeder and the Foo Fighters record label haven't made any comments about the requests. I had heard about the Madison Square Garden concert beforehand, and they were getting a little bit of flack from fans saying, that's it, I'm done, I'm never listening to you again, I'm throwing out all your records because, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And
You bought them already, so you can throw them out. They're not making any money off
right,
them.
they're not making any money off of you. And basically they had said that the reason why was to do with state mandates in the state of New York. So, it wasn't necessarily their rule, it was kind of everybody else's rule. And then because they were doing such a small, intimate venue, they were looking out, again, for the safety of their fans.
Right.
So
yeah, God forbid these people look out for this. Unlike Disney, who doesn't,
right.
you had the Foo Fighters who do.
Right.
And, I saw this article, and the first thing that comes to mind are the Darwin Awards. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, my God, do you have any idea how many candidates there are for Darwin Awards, in the last year and a half now?
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Schroeder now is chief among them at this point in time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, the Foo Fighters are now the Pooh Fighters, according to Ricky Schroeder.
But you know what? It's going to make me want to listen to them even more now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not going back and watching Silver Spoons either. I refuse to now.
Exactly. Good.
So, the last article we have in our entertainment news is a tribute from Diana Ross.
Yeah, so this came from etonline.com. It seems that on Thursday, the former Supreme announced that her upcoming album, Thank You, is set to debut this fall. In a press release, Ross promised a powerful, inclusive musical message of love and togetherness that wholeheartedly acknowledges that we are all in this together. A collection of songs is my gift to you with appreciation and love, the singer said. I am eternally grateful that I had the opportunity to record this glorious music at this time. I dedicate this songbook of love to all of you, the listeners. As you hear my voice, your heart, you'll hear my heart. The album, which will be her first album in nearly 22 years, was entirely original music, and is her first album of any kind since 2006. The singer shared that she recorded the album during quarantine in her home studio with help from award-winning songwriters and producers such as Tyler Prax, Jack Antonoff, Troy Miller, Triangle Park, Spike Stent, and Nathaniel Ledgwick. The title track and the first single dropped actually today along with the album's announcement. Thank You, the album will be available to stream in September.
And I think this is another one of those feel-good things. Like, she's not doing this, I'm sure she's going to make money off of, but she's not doing it for the fact that she needs the money. She's doing this as a feel-good, a thank you, a give back to the fans. This is a time when we need to have a little bit of that healing spirit, And who doesn't love, Diana Ross's voice?
Absolutely.
Incredible. Incredible. So that was all we had for our entertainment news this week. We'll be right back with our insightful picks of the week. Go for your insightful pick.
So my insightful pick this week is actually a repeat because I had done this one back on show 30-something. A long time ago, galaxy far, far away. So my insightful pick this week is Lucifer, which is on Netflix. There are 5 seasons available. The second half of season 5 just dropped. I guess it was the end of May. And what was interesting was that season 5 was actually supposed to be their last season, but last June, I believe it was, they had announced that they would be coming back for a 6th and final season. So just when you think they were done, nope, they got one more season to go. So the premise behind the show is, bored with being the Lord of Hell, the devil relocates to Los Angeles, where he opens a nightclub and forms a connection with a homicide detective. Lucifer is an American urban fantasy superhero television series that had originally appeared on Fox in 2016. Was on Fox for 3 seasons, I believe, and then they canceled it, but fans were, so gung-ho with it, and Netflix actually picked it up for the other 3 seasons. And what was nice was that when they brought it to Netflix, they were able to be a little bit more edgy with the show. And I think that's when a lot of other fans kind of jumped on the bandwagon for the show, because it was available, on Netflix, and you could go back and watch all of them. So it was always a favorite show of mine, from the beginning. So I had remembered that this was supposed to be their last season, so I was kind of sad with that. But then hearing the news that they were, we're going to come back and do one more. So that's kind of cool. So so the final season will actually just be 10 episodes sometime, I'm guessing, next year at this point, because again, things are slowly starting to ramp back up, with filming and whatnot. So
Cool. Good pick.
Thanks.
Again.
Thank you.
So my pick this week, we're on a trend here, is once again not a documentary. My pick is, after one episode of it, it's the first Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show that I'm picking after the first episode, and that's Loki.
Yeah, that's very unlike you.
It is, I know. We still have the second one to watch. We'll probably catch that tomorrow, but...
Because we don't watch it on Wednesday.
Yes, they should be dropping them on Fridays like they did all the other ones. So set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Loki streaming series shares continuity with the films of the franchise and takes place after the events of the film Avengers Endgame, in which an alternate version of Loki created a new timeline. Tom Hiddleston reprises his role as Loki from the film series. Loki premiered on June 9th and will consist of 6 episodes. It is part of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and was confirmed for a second season already being in development. After stealing the Tesseract during the events of Avengers Endgame, an alternate version of Loki is brought to the mysterious Time Variance Authority, the TVA, not the Tennessee Valley Authority from the Depression times, the Time Variance Authority. The TVA is a bureaucratic organization that exists outside of time and space and monitors the timeline. They give Loki a choice: face being erased from existence due to being a, quote, time variant, or help fix the timeline and stop a greater threat. Loki ends up trapped in his own crime thriller, traveling through time and altering human history. So far, we've only watched the first episode, like I said, but it is the first series on Disney Plus from the MCU that I like after the first episode. It took me 4 episodes of WandaVision before the show had any appeal, and 2 before I really started to warm up to Falcon and Winter Soldier. From my own perspective, that's a promising start for this show. I'm very excited to see. I'm sad it's only 6 episodes, but I'm excited to see the rest of them for the season. I'm sure that some of that appeal has to be credited to Hiddleston's portrayal. I've always loved the character in his hands. And much to my surprise, part of the appeal is actually Owen Wilson's performance as well. I've never been a big fan of Wilson's. He seems one step above Nicolas Cage when it comes to a one-dimensional portrayal. I often struggle to see Wilson as anything more than a clueless pot-smoking surfer guy injected into situations for comedic relief. But in Loki, he's demonstrating a depth of character that utterly shocks me. He comes across as a grizzled veteran detective one might find in a classic noir Mickey Spillane novel, but with a worldly knowledge that makes the offhand observations he makes seem prophetic. The show's appeal might be the retro tech look that gives it a Fallout Vegas feel that I can wrap myself in like a comfortable blanket. But in reality, I'm sure it's a combination of all these things and the classic MCU comedy, drama, action vibe we all have come to love. And it's almost like the perfect blend of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all the pieces of it seem to be gelling together after one episode, which blows my mind.
Right.
They go back and they borrow, in the first episode, they borrow footage from Avengers Endgame to show the scene where he picks up the Tesseract, but they're thoughtful enough to actually reshoot some of that so you can see it from his perspective, too.
Yeah.
So it gives you a whole new twist on how things happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's one scene where they kind of do a, this is your life segment, and they walk him through different parts of his life.
Right.
Trying to prove the point of him being this cruel, sadistic, mean person who does things with no good reason. And once it's flaunted in his face, you actually start to feel sympathetic with the character, which you're not supposed to feel sympathetic with Loki. But Hiddleston pulls it off great. So my pick this week is Loki on Disney Plus. Episode 2 just dropped 3 will be out on Wednesday of next week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back with some afterthoughts. So we have some return to normal. Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
So first off, we had gone over the summer. We had gone to the mini Monster Mania mall shopping experience, whatever it was. So the Monster Mania convention that was supposed to be held in May had actually gotten pushed to August, which is the one that they do in Cherry Hill. Then their September convention they do in Hunt Valley, Maryland, which is a little bit north of the Baltimore area, and just announced today they're going to be doing an October convention at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, where they had done their little shopping mall convention. So this was just posted on their website today. They basically said, hey, everybody said you should really do something at the convention center. And they were like, you know what? We're going to make this happen. So it's a nice kind of halfway point for fans that go to the Maryland show and fans that go to the Cherry Hill show. It's going to be a totally different venue for them because those other two venues are basically done at a hotel where they kind of take over the hotel lobby and some of the conference rooms and convention areas. So here it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be a fantastic venue for them because they'll be able to fit a lot more people where people won't be on top of each other. There'll be, more spacing out. And, we've gone to Oaks for various different things. The parking, there's
it's
always
fantastic venue. It's such
Yeah.
It's such a user centric or a shopper or fan centric venue.
Right. It's easy to get to, there's places to eat afterwards. It's not for us, being in South Jersey, it's not that bad of a drive. For us, for anybody that's in Philly or, other areas, it's pretty easy to get to. So
getting in and getting out, because they've got 4 main halls in there that can be combined and reconfigured.
Right.
And getting in and out of there is so easy. They're so set up. They've got multiple entrances on major arteries.
Yeah.
And everything that we've ever gone to there has been run so smoothly.
Yeah, we've never gone to anything there that we had an issue with.
It's really one of my favorite expo centers.
Right. And even when we went to the shopping mall where we were like, how is this going to work?
Yeah.
Is it going to be in a parking lot? And we were like, wow, this was perfect for them.
They had a specific area for an outdoor venue,
Right.
which was done perfect. Right across the street from the parking lot,
Yeah,
too.
it was totally, and as we had mentioned when we had talked about it, really the only negative thing we had to say is that there could have been something for more shade,
Right.
because
But nobody knew at that time of year it was going to be 95 degrees.
95 degrees that
I cannot
day.
fault them for that.
Right, exactly. Like if
Like
you
if
had
you would
to,
plan to do that like in the middle of July
Right.
and still didn't have any kind of protection,
Right.
then I could fault you for it.
Right, and that's the thing is, other than that, it ran smoothly.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect. So I'm kind of looking forward. Like as we were talking, even though the Cherry Hill location is much closer for us, we don't have to pay to go over the bridge or whatever. I would be more inclined to actually drive a little bit further and go to Oaks because, the Cherry Hill experience, parking is always a pain in the butt. It's always very crowded.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's just so
Right.
packed in there. It's just
Right.
it's not set up. And maybe in the early days when the show wasn't
Right,
so big, it worked
right.
out well.
And now
But
they've
now
gotten
it's just so
they've
big
gotten
that it
too
doesn't
big.
work there.
So I'm kind of excited to be able to go, and it's close to our wedding anniversary, so maybe it'll be a cool, hey, wedding present.
Yeah.
The ticket prices were basically the same as their other conventions. $25 for Saturday. I believe it was $30.
Your pre-COVID prices.
Your pre-COVID pricing. Guests haven't been announced yet, but as they
they're
do,
gonna have 'em.
yeah, they're going to have.
And there's going to be some themed reunion because they do it in almost
There's
every
always
one of them.
some sort of themed reunion where they get 3 or 4 stars from some 80s or 70s horror movie. all together. So very cool. They even had blocks of hotels available for people that aren't from the area, who are driving a bit. So if you go to monstermania.com, all the information is there. Even vendors, they're looking for vendors. So if you happen to be somebody who's a vendor who Cherry Hill's a little bit too far for you, but Oaks isn't as bad, here's a great opportunity. And I think that's what's also going to kind of be cool, because when we went to the shopping thing, there were different vendors that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, there are a lot more vendors.
Where when we've gone to Monster Mania back-to-back years, it's a lot of the same vendors, which it's great.
And I think part of the problem is because it's so cramped, you don't see all the vendors.
Right, you don't get to see everybody because you're just trying to get through, So I think this will be a great opportunity because, again, you're going to get all these different vendors who aren't from, either of the local
areas and
there's
going to be plenty of room
stuff.
to browse, because a lot of times at Cherry Hill, there's so many people there that you can't really stop and look through a table when there's so many people trying to get
Right, because
by.
if there's already so many people looking at a table, you can't. So very happy that they're doing this. So
we have one more though.
Yeah, so we have one more, and this one, when you had to go to Maryland for work, one of your co-workers down there, who knows you're a geek, had given you the flyer for it, and it is the Ocean City Comic Con, and they are coming back in 2021.
And that's Ocean City, Maryland, not New Jersey.
Right, Ocean City, Maryland, with all the vendors, guests, cosplay, panels, video games, screenings that you've come to love, and adding some new surprises. So it is at the Roland E. Powell Convention Center in Coastal Highway, Ocean City, Maryland. It's just one day that they do it. It is Saturday, December 11th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cost is really, almost nothing. It's $10 for adults. Kids 9 and under are free with a paying adult. If you come in costume, you get $1 off. And if you bring a non-perishable food item, you will get another $1 off. So if you do both together, you can get $2 off. Or, obviously, the $10 donation. Tickets are only sold at the door, so there's no buying of tickets, where, just to mention, for Monster Mania, you can go online and buy tickets ahead of time right now. So they have different areas where you can get information. So if you go to twitter.com Ocean City Comic, or their Facebook page, which is Ocean City Comic Con, their Instagram page, or you can contact them on their website, which is oceancitycomiccon.com. You can get more information. This is one. What happened? Well, obviously
they didn't have
last
year, and the year before that, we were
just
actually going to Disney that year.
Oh, okay. I remember there was something
Yeah, we
where
had a schedule conflict because that was our Disney vacation around the holidays.
Okay, so this will be kind of cool because we don't have anything planned,
and it's a great one because it's off season. By December, you haven't had a Comic-Con or a convention for probably 2 or 3 months.
Right, so you're kind of itching for something. It's also right before the holidays, so maybe there's an opportunity to find.
And I have it on good authority
presents.
that if you want to go down and stay overnight, there are plenty of rooms, and the rates are great that time of year.
I was
going to
say, because, and it'll be kind of interesting to see what Ocean City is like.
And Ocean City does not shut. Ocean City is very similar to the Jersey Shores. They don't shut down in the off season entirely like they used to.
Okay.
There's plenty of restaurants that are open. There's venues that are open down there. So they're really, and this is one of the things that they're trying to do. They're really trying to keep that year-round attraction going.
So that's probably why they do it.
Yep.
This time of year,
because they get great rates on the venue as well.
Yeah.
So Ocean City Comic-Con.
We are definitely looking forward to it. Maybe any of our friends or whoever that are interested, we'll try and do like a meetup or something.
Yep,
who knows?
That would be cool. Maybe we'll get a booth down there and we'll do a podcast on location. You never know.
There you go.
You never know. But I think that was all we had today, right?
Yep.
Before we go, I do want to once again remind folks to subscribe to the podcast. You can get audio versions of this podcast listed as Insights into Entertainment, or you can get video versions of all the podcasts listed as Insights into Things on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, etc. I would also invite everyone to give us some feedback. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com.
You can find us on Twitter at insights_things.
On Facebook, we're at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast.
On Instagram at instagram.com/insightsintothings.
You can get audio versions on the web if you don't have a podcatcher at podcast.insightsintoentertainment.com.
You can find the video versions of all of our podcasts from all 3 versions at youtube.com/insightsintothings.
We do stream 6 days a week, both on YouTube and Twitch. You can get us at twitch.tv/insightsintothings.
And finally, if you go to our main website and want to get links to any of our things, you can go to insightsintothings.com.
And we do have...
Da, 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 da!
We finally have profile pictures up for our hosts. You can check that out on the website as well. These are themed with what application was it?
Voila!
Voila!
So it made us very Pixar-y like. So,
yes. So,
being the Disney people that we are.
Right.
Well,
so if
most
you
of us.
only consume the audio version of this podcast and
I
want to know
what we
look like,
in a cartoon.
I really do look as bad as I look
Oh,
on the
stop.
website.
You don't look that bad. I think it's nice that we have like the roses in the background. You can't
it's-
even tell.
That's because
but
you're
it's-
such a fantastic photographer and you set the shots up
What can I
beautifully.
say?
But that's all we have for this week.
Yep.
Another one in the books.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.